Charisma is a lie. Not the thing itself, but what you have been told about it. You have been fed a sanitized version, a Disney Channel understanding of human magnetism. The real mechanics of charisma are darker, more primal, and nobody wants to admit them because admitting them means accepting uncomfortable truths about power and human nature. You see someone walk into a room and everyone turns. You feel it before you understand it. There is a gravitational pull. You want to be near them. You want them to notice you. And you have been told this happens because they smile more, because they remember names, because they ask good questions. That is kindergarten advice. That is the surface explanation for people who are not ready to look deeper. The first dark secret is this: charisma is not about making people like you. It is about making people feel things they cannot control. The charismatic person is not trying to be liked. They are orchestrating emotional states in others. They understand that human beings are not rational creatures making logical assessments. We are animals responding to signals we barely understand ourselves. When you meet someone truly charismatic, what you experience is a temporary loss of your own emotional center. They do not match your energy, they replace it. You come in feeling one way, and within minutes, you have adopted their frequency. This is not magic. This is emotional contagion, executed with precision. They have learned to broadcast a specific emotional signature so strongly that your nervous system syncs to theirs without your permission. This is why charisma feels dangerous. Because it is. You are experiencing a small hijacking of your autonomy. The charismatic person has understood something most people refuse to accept. Emotions are contagious, and whoever has the strongest broadcast wins. They do not ask if you want to feel differently. They simply make you feel differently. You have been in conversations where you left feeling energized even though you barely spoke. You have been in rooms where one person set the entire tone and everyone else became an instrument in their orchestra. That was not an accident. That was someone who understood that leadership is not about ideas or competence. Leadership is about controlling the emotional weather of a space. The second dark secret is that charisma requires strategic indifference. This one destroys people because it contradicts everything you have been taught. You have been told to care deeply, to be invested, to show people they matter to you. And while this creates connection, it does not create charisma. Charisma requires distance. It requires you to care less than the other person does. Think about the most magnetic people you know. They are never chasing. They are never desperate for validation. They move through the world like they have somewhere more important to be. And this drives people insane. Because humans are wired to pursue that which retreats from them. We want what seems slightly out of reach. We obsess over people who seem not to need us. The charismatic person has internalized a brutal truth. The moment you need someone, you lose them. Need repels. Autonomy attracts. This does not mean being cold. This means being so genuinely fulfilled in your own existence that others feel like a bonus, not a necessity. People sense this. They feel the absence of neediness like a vacuum, and they rush to fill it. You see this in every arena. The musician who seems indifferent to the crowd. The leader who does not beg for loyalty. The romantic interest who seems perfectly content alone. They are not playing games, though it looks like that from the outside. They have genuinely constructed a life where they do not require external validation to feel whole. And paradoxically, this makes everyone want to give them validation. This is the dark part. To be charismatic, you must be willing to lose people. You must be willing to walk away. You must mean it when you set boundaries. Most people fake indifference, and it shows. True charisma comes from genuine non-attachment, and that requires building a life so rich that no single person can make or break your emotional state. The third dark secret is the one nobody wants to hear. Charisma is amoral. It is a tool, a weapon. It does not care about your intentions. You can use it to inspire revolutions or manipulate crowds. History is full of charismatic monsters. This is why people are uncomfortable discussing the real mechanics of it. Because once you understand how it works, you understand how easily it can be weaponized. Charisma bypasses critical thinking. It operates beneath conscious awareness. When someone is truly charismatic, your rational mind shuts off. You stop analyzing whether what they say makes sense. You just feel compelled. This is why cults form around charismatic leaders. This is why entire nations follow demagogues off cliffs. The charismatic person has learned to speak directly to the emotional brain, and the emotional brain does not fact-check. And here is where it gets darker. Once you learn these mechanics, you cannot unsee them. You start noticing how politicians use strategic pauses, how influencers manufacture intimacy through parasocial techniques, how certain people in your life have been unconsciously manipulating the emotional temperature of every room they enter. You realize that charisma is not some mystical gift. It is a learned skill set, and like any skill set, it can be used for creation or destruction. Most people never develop real charisma because they are afraid of this power. They are afraid of what it would mean to genuinely influence others. They hide behind niceness and agreeableness because wielding influence means accepting responsibility. The charismatic person has made peace with their power. They do not apologize for it. They do not dim themselves to make others comfortable. This is why charisma feels unfair, because it is. It gives certain people disproportionate influence over reality. A charismatic person can walk into a negotiation and change the outcome just by being present. They can diffuse conflicts or start them. They can make people believe things that 5 minutes earlier seemed absurd. This is not about logic or truth. This is about who can control the emotional frame. You have probably been in situations where the most qualified person lost to the most charismatic person, where the better idea was ignored because the person presenting it lacked magnetism. This is not a bug in human psychology. This is a feature. We are built to follow emotional certainty, not rational arguments. The charismatic person exudes certainty, and we are wired to fall in line behind it. So what do you do with this information? You have two choices. You can reject it and continue believing charisma is about being nice and likable, or you can accept that influence is real, that it operates through specific mechanisms, and that you can either learn those mechanisms or remain subject to them. The uncomfortable truth is that we live in a hierarchy of influence. Some people shape reality, others get shaped by it. Charisma is the difference. It is not fair, it is not kind, it just is. And now that you know how it actually works, you get to decide what you do with that knowledge.